Hello, my name is Andrea Serna, and I'm here at the Museum of Latin American Art for Palacio Magazine and Random Lengths News. We're here with Frank Romero, the artist, celebrating the opening of his exhibition, Dreamland. This is just a breathtaking exhibition. I'm going to try not to get emotional. The entire museum is filled with your work. This is the first time, there's two firsts here. This is the first time the museum has ever dedicated the entire museum to one artist, and it's the first time that they've had a solo show for a Chicano artist.
That's right, and I'm very proud to be the first solo Chicano artist to exhibit at Molaa. It's something I've worked to happen for many, many years, and it just worked out beautifully. And of course, I'm kind of shocked that they got my favorite artist, me, to actually do the show. It's been a lot of work. I have to thank the curator, Eddie Hayes, very much, because it was quite an undertaking. We had to go all over the country to find a lot of these paintings and ship them here.
Yes. There are nearly 50 donors to this show, people who've lent art from different museums and private collections to, and your most iconic works are in this show. The closing of Whittier Boulevard, the death of Ruben Salazar, all the great pieces that you were known for. And it's just really breathtaking. And on top of that, some of your newer pieces, your neon pieces also.
The neon actually goes back almost 30 years.
Oh, okay.
But they've been, the least exhibited because I haven't had a major show in many, many years. Mm-hmm. Because basically I spent 6 months out of the year in France, so everyone thinks I live in Europe, but I do come back to LA every year.
Yeah, you have to come back.
Well, I have a lot of business here, mm-hmm. and a lot of people who still like my work, and this has been a really exciting show because not only was this show put together, but another show was organized at Cal State LA, which is where I went to school. I was first freshman class in 1963. 1963. Yeah, and so they're having in the Fine Arts Gallery there another exhibition of my work, and also the acting director here saw my exhibition in Chinatown, which is the arts district in downtown Los Angeles, right, on Broadway and College, and it's called Eastern Projects. And so all three exhibitions are running simultaneously throughout the city.
All right. And what is the name of the gallery in Chinatown?
Eastern Projects.
Eastern Projects.
And it's on the corner of Broadway and College.
Okay. Out of all the times that you have experienced fame, tell me about the first time.
Well, for us, it was actually the exhibition at UC Irvine and we decided to reach out and create a bilingual, bicultural name for the exhibition, and we chose Los Four. Right. And for many reasons, including the supervisor of the 3rd District, Ernie Debs, it was picked up by the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, and we had the show there in '74. And not only did we have a wonderful exhibition, we took over the entire Anderson wing of the museum and broke attendance records. We had lines around the block. And this was at the height of the Chicano movement. And so it was quite a landmark exhibition for its time.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Also, I wanted to talk about this mural that we're sitting in front of. This is called the LA River. This is the largest mural that's ever been installed at the Museum of Latin American Art. There's another first, 3 firsts. So this is the largest museum mural that's ever been installed in the museum, and I just found out this morning that this was retrieved from the Goodwill.
Yes.
So tell me how that happened.
One of my young proteges, David Fleury, actually works for the Goodwill. You know, it's his day job, and he's a well-known artist now. And he was with me for 10 years as my assistant. And this mural was actually done for the Museum of Natural History in Los Angeles. And after the end of that exhibition, Light, Motion, and Dreams, it came back to my studio. And of course, what do you do with a 64-foot mural? I think it's bigger than my entire studio. And David heard about it, and Goodwill was opening up a new public center in LA, and they had a wall 70 feet long, and they were looking for some kind of an art project to put there. So the truth is, after months of negotiation, I leased it to them for a year, and they actually had it up on public display for an entire year, which was very fun. And when it was about to come down, this exhibition happened, and Molaa went down there and retrieved it. And I can't believe that it actually fits on one of their walls, just barely, but perfectly.
Like it was made for that wall.
Yeah, and it's beautifully hung. I must say, they did a really good job of putting it up.
Wonderful. I saw a video of them hanging this. It took like about 6 people or more to put it up on the wall. So I want to ask you, there's another piece that we're sitting close to here, which is a piece that depicts you and your wife and around the world, pretty much, but in Paris, with the Eiffel Tower behind you, and you're posed as Diego and she is posed as Frida, which is a very nice homage. So tell me a little bit about your current situation, your lifestyle in Paris, and then also California. I understand that you're spending half your time here and half your time there.
Yeah, exactly. When my wife and I got married, we spent a year in Paris and got to know some really good friends who invited us to a little teeny village in Provence, in the south of France, named Mirmonde. And so Cheech Marin suggested that I do a corporate mural for the Target Corporation, for their corporate offices in Minneapolis. And yes, they treated us beautifully, and I was given a private tour of all the major museums in Minneapolis that are sponsored. A great deal of it is sponsored by Target money. And we negotiated and did this mural for their corporate collection. And it is about it's autobiographical. It's about my wife and my life in Los Angeles 6 months out of the year, and in Provence 6 months out of the year, and in between Paris. And I do all that because I read somewhere that that's what Diego Rivera did. So
Okay, there you go.
If he did it, I can do it.
That's right. That's true, and I love the way you portray yourself there with Diego, as Diego. So let me ask you, because there's a little controversy here with the history of the Museum of Latin American Art. Molaa was for many, many years reluctant to show Chicano art here, and one day the previous director was in an elevator with Cheech Marin, and Cheech told him, "Why aren't you showing Chicano art?" I hear that was about 5 years ago. And since then, they changed their mission to include artists living on this side of the border. Molaa kind of had their own wall built. You had to live on the other side of the wall.
A Trump wall, right?
Right, they had their own wall. And if you lived on the south side of the wall, you could be shown. But if you lived on the north side of the wall, you couldn't.
And I understand Molaa came from the fact that Latin American art was very current and very hot in the 70s and 80s and 90s. They sold for astronomical prices. And yes, Gumbiners, the founder, had a great collection of Latin American art. And it did not include Chicanos. It was just one of those flukes. And Cheech was campaigning to change that, and so was I. We thought it was rather strange that because the only people that really attend this museum in great numbers are the Latinos from Long Beach and LA County. And so it was a gradual process, but they changed their mission statement, and I'm the first Chicano artist to have a solo exhibition at Molaa. So I'm very proud of that.
Yes, and it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful exhibition. It's a beautiful way to do this for the first time, to show a Chicano artist and to show really the beauty of Chicano art, because early on, sometimes people thought of it as more like folk art or, protest art or all that kind of stuff. So now I'm going to go into protest art because you also had a very interesting time early in your career where you did a series on police brutality. And now this has become very relevant again today with the Black Lives Matter and with social media. So have you considered addressing that topic again?
Of course, and art is a very strange process. When Ruben Salazar was killed by the sheriff's department in 1970, it took me another 15 years to do the death of Ruben Salazar, and it was a protest painting against police brutality. And I have many of these protest paintings here. I'll mention the arrest of the paleteros, which is very current in the city council of LA, because they're still arguing about licensing street vendors in city parks. And that's been going on for 20 years. It's on and off. And yes, at one time it was legal, but the license for street vending is $900, which is more than most vendors that sell ice cream bars or tamales on the street can afford. Wow. And that has to be addressed too. It's just the inequity of who can sell, yes, and who can get a license. Yes.
We need artists speaking out today more than ever, I think. Yeah. It's come back around again.
Yeah, and
yes,
I have to say that, the same thing, the city has an ordinance against painting a mural now, where in the 60s, we all were part of the Chicano mural movement, and that's the only reason Los Angeles became world famous, because of their murals in the streets. And it's so hard now, because you have to go to this formal process to get approved by the city council.
Do you have a favorite medium?
I'm basically a painter, and yes, I paint in oil, and I'll paint on any surface, wood or canvas, and yes, and I add neon as a backlighting or another aspect of my work, and yes, I live in a little teeny village of 100 houses, and it's really 9th, 8th, and 12th century. It's an ancient village, and but it's on the side of a hill, and I have a view of the Rhone Valley from my terrace. And I do paintings of Europe in Provence, and then when I come home, I transport them home, and it's too expensive to bring canvas home, so I do all the paintings on paper and then have them framed. So it's the way I've learned to work, and it's kind of interesting.
Great. All right, so for anyone who's planning to come and visit this exhibition, I would highly encourage you to come to the Museum of Latin American Art. This is a historic exhibition that's being shown now. When you first walk in, you walk through a hallway of Frank's neon art, and it's just mystical, passing through this hallway and seeing his beautiful, vibrant, colorful work. all your work is very colorful. You're a colorist, is basically what you are. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
talking with us today.
It was fun.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.